Georgetown in dominating fashion, 81-61. And made 9 3-pointers in that game. First win against Georgetown since the Maui Invitational back in '99. North Carolina in the white controls the opening tip.
They had a big win against Georgetown back in '82.
That worked out pretty well.
Yeah, pretty well.
63-62 in New Orleans, Mike, for the national championship.
Some guy number 23 hit the shot. A young kid.
1 of 5 national championships, 6 if you count the one from 1924 as well. Those banners hanging in the rafters at this incredible setting for college basketball. Bouncing around on the interior. Wilson tried to get to it after the miss, and it's out of bounds and to the Spartans.
A big size advantage just about every position for North Carolina. They are the biggest team on average in the NCAA. 6'7½".
And you know, Mike, that's something they necessarily could not say every game last year. They have stepped it up in that department.
Well, as I said in the open, not just big, but big and talented. Good combination.
USC Upstate, 6-5, 1-4 away from Spartanburg, South Carolina. Shot clock winding down, trying to work that baseline with Smith. His shot was deflected. Veesaar was defending, and he will pick up his first personal foul.
You know what? That was actually a great possession for USC, for Upstate. And, you know, we talked to Marty Richter that he wants to get the shot clock under 10 in every possession. But not only that, they get a foul on the play as well.
Armani Gregory, who was trying to make the play, is second leading scorer on the team. He's got the basketball now. Just over 15 points per game. Trying to drive it into the paint against Wilson. Wants to kick it out. Gregory with the shot clock at 6. Wilson alters the trajectory of that shot. They keep it alive. And now Smith tries to go baseline. It's deflected and back to the heels. Bogavac trying to go all the way, had it wrestled away, held ball, and it favors USC Upstate.
You know, virtually every team that comes in here to play focuses on transition defense, and really nice job by Upstate that time getting back, stopping the break.
5th season for Hubert Davis, as Mike mentioned, averaging over 6'7" for the height from Carolina. That is the tallest in the nation. Floater on the baseline, Gregory. He stumbled down. Wilson ends up with the basketball, trying to show off the handles and gather it. Bogavac. Veesaar, little 2-man action. Dumps it low. Veesaar lays it in for 2.
Yeah, Bogavac, he was going to get a lot of playing time, but actually, you know, you think you don't want anybody to get injured, but Seth Trimble being out for this stretch has really let other guys step up. He's certainly gotten more reps.
Left arm injury for Trimble. He's only played in 2 games so far this season for North Carolina for the senior.
May get him back before the start of the ACC season, but they want to be very careful with it.
Martinez sends it back out. This is Smith. This is the jumper. Fight for the rebound between 2 Tar Heels and take it in by Stevenson. Up ahead quickly. Veesaar had it poked away out of bounds. Will stay at this end of the floor. Head coach in his 2nd season. Coach Marty Richter.
Well, you look at, you know, the advance already, 6 wins total last year. A very rough first season, but already matching that in December.
Just 2-14 in Big South play last year for the Spartans.
And if the Spartans can get North Carolina to settle for 3s early, that'll certainly be to their advantage. Then they just have to block out and get boards.
Now, so far, North Carolina this season, 14th in the ACC in 3-point shooting at 32%. Spartans are on a 2-game winning streak. They've won 3 of their last 4. Bendinger.
And they're going to find that they're going to get shots, but they're going to have to alter because of the height of North Carolina.
Bogavac thought about it. Veesaar for 3.
You mentioned 14th, but on the floor right now, he may be their best 3-point shooter. And Hubert Davis talked to us yesterday. He said, we're a better 3-point shooting team than we've shown But Veesaar's been solid.
Veesaar's 9th made 3 of the season, 19 tries. The redshirt junior from Tallinn, Estonia. Shot clock winding down on the Spartans, and a miss. Veesaar has the rebound. He had 18 points and 15 rebounds, a career high in the win against Georgetown. Wilson spinning on the baseline and elevating for the jam.
And I think those were the first 2 points he scored at Carolina were a dunk, and he announced himself rather loudly and has stayed loud throughout this year. But yeah, if you're guarding him, you can't give up the baseline like that.
29 dunks on the season. That is tops in the nation for Caleb Wilson. Veesaar has the clearance. Wilson, who had 20 points in the Georgetown win and 14 rebounds to tie his season high. Out of the corner for 3. That's a miss from Stevenson. Davis gives it up on the perimeter. This is Smith. Back to Davis. That's for 3. So the Spartans are on the board.
Yeah, I thought, in these type of games, in this situation, it's really important for the visitors come in and get some confidence early, feel like they're in the game.
Lyric Davis now has 10 made 3s on the season. Veesaar driving and
getting a chance to play because of the injury to Trimble, and then Powell is one of those guys who's gotten more minutes.
Bogavac. Powell straight away. That's a 3. Jonathan Powell.
And he doesn't waste the time getting into the scoring column.
Transfer from West Virginia with his 11th made 3 of the season. Struggled against Georgetown from 3-point distant Mike. He was just 1 of 5. Lyric Davis comes back with the bucket at the other end.
He's been playing well for them in the last couple of games. 11 points, 9 rebounds, and he's the one who's given them a little emotional lift.
Trying to work on the inside with James Brown. It goes out of bounds, and it will be Upstate basketball.
And Martinez with the block. This is 24th of the year, and this is a team that they block 5.5 shots a game, so they're deceptively long inside. Marty Richter telling us before the game that they're not really long, but very physical.
He said that the Spartans want to try to slow this pace a little bit. Atkins had to kick it back out to Gregory. Davis has all 5 points so far as the shot clock goes inside of 10. Gregory misses the jumper. Wilson is high for the rebound. Up ahead to Brown. Tough catch.
Well, and you can see playing against North Carolina, what normally happens is teams don't even try on the offensive glass. They may send one guy in, and you can see Upstate here. It's once the shot goes up, it's 4 guys sprinting back defensively.
North Carolina averages 43 rebounds per game, second best in the ACC in the early going.
Their only loss was when they got out-rebounded by Michigan State.
Off the glass. Angle calculated. That's Davis. He's got all 7, Mike.
Yeah, and like I said, he's giving them a little confidence early until everybody else catches up.
Wilson was trying to attempt the catch and got fouled. Davis picks it up his first. Lyric Davis has all 7. He averages 8.5 points per game for Upstate. Caleb Wilson, on the other hand, leads North Carolina in scoring and rebounding. Bogavac in rhythm from the baseline.
Catch and shoot, 1 pass on the underneath, out of bounds.
Spartans missed their first 6 shots of the game. 3 of their last 4 from the floor for USC Upstate. Atkins launching away for 3.
Got a good look, and they were daring him to shoot that shot. He went underneath on the screen.
Carmelo Atkins has made 30 3-pointers this season. Team lead. Brown inside, get the bounce. Took it right to Martinez underneath.
Played through the contact, really strong finish.
Little runner bounces off to Wilson.
You know the thing about Wilson that's impressive, he hasn't really forced anything this early in the game.
Contesting the shot and an awkward fall on the drive from Bendinger. It was Wilson who will trot over to the scorer's table.
And what did Hubert Davis talk about? One thing that we really needed to improve on his off-the-ball defense, his awareness on the other side of the floor. He can be a real force at the rim blocking shots.
So Wilson will get a breather on that Hubert Davis bench. Stolen.
Such a great play to have a big
head. And the rim rattler from Jonathan Powell, who's got 5.
Yeah, so you get the turnover on the underneath out of bounds. Everybody's buried the good look ahead, but I love having Veesaar on the inbounder underneath. He got the deflection. So tough to see anybody.
7 field goals and 7 assists so far in the first half. Almost field goals for North Carolina. Launching the deep 3, and it is all net. Isaiah Skinner ripping the ropes for the Spartans.
And the three-point shot is keeping them in the game here early.
Veesaar. Miss from close range there on the feed.
Well, he looked like he lost the ball on the way up, so didn't really have total control of it.
Spent 2 years in the Arizona program, played 66 games for the Wildcats before coming to Chapel Hill. Bendinger ran into a roadblock, gave it to Collier, too strong off the glass. Veesaar has the rebound. Ryan Evans weaving his way for the easy layup.
And you know, he actually used Collier, the other team guy, as a screen and got to the
first ever meeting between the programs. A historic day here in Chapel Hill. Spartans with the basketball. Atkins goes inside and finds the open man.
Really nice pass. And his defender tripped. Could have taken the 3, but a very unselfish play.
First points for Bendinger, the leading scorer this season for the Spartans. Angular rebound off the miss from Veesaar. And Smith has it. Into the corner. This is Smith. That's a 3. Got another one.
Contagious and a good look, too. A lot of composure on the front end of that possession.
And to tie this game, Evans tries to untie us, and it spins off the rim.
As you could see, I mean, normally you saw the early rush and then Smith holding things back. Their natural tendency is to run, but they can't do that today.
Smith, who just made that 3 last time down the court, has the basketball now. Averages just over 4 points per game. Bendinger misses on a 3-point attempt from the wing. Dixie. Stevenson right back to him. 4-3.
A really nice job blocking out.
Quickly at the other end, out of the corner from Atkins. Spartans keep it alive. Dixon is the best 3-point shooter for North Carolina this season, 48% despite the miss on the last trip down the floor. Smith trying to loop it in. Martinez couldn't complete the play.
Yeah, I don't know how many lobs you're going to be able to pull off against this front line, even with Wilson on the bench.
North Carolina was so strong against Georgetown. Wilson and Veesaar with double-doubles in that game. Evans into the corner. Dixon was standing on the sideline right in front of that Spartan bench. Coach Richter said, you know, if the guys just listen to what I tell them, Mike, we might have a chance today.
It's kind of like your parents, you know, when you're a teenager, they don't know a thing, but then you get older and you get a little smarter.
Remember, they had that win beginning part of the season at Fresno State. They won 67-66. Did lose at Nebraska. beat Coastal Carolina in overtime on December 3rd. It's been an eventful season for the Spartans so far. And they're ripping it again. They've got the lead on the three.
And those cross-court passes are getting good looks from behind the arc.
2 threes made for Smith. Bogavac. Veesaar bending the rim for North Carolina.
Yeah, that's what they needed to get back with him, get him scoring inside. But I really credit Hubert Davis keeping this team, giving him some confidence early. Now that everybody else feeding off of that for Upstate.
International combination for North Carolina. Bogavac, Montenegro. Veesaar from Estonia. Bendinger spinning and shooting. Well defended by Wilson.
Hey, you see, on those shots, I mean, they just put a little bit more arc on it than they would like to, just out of their comfort zone.
Upstate by 1, whistle underneath. They beat St. Louis in the semis, 2-1. Good things happening on the pitch for the ACC.
And Duke women actually had 3 of the 4 in the Final Four. Duke was the other team there. Got beat by Stanford.
Right now, Mike, it is a surprising 21-20 lead for USC Upstate. North Carolina started on a 7-0 run. That's a distant memory.
The other thing that's impressive about the Spartans, only 2 turnovers to this point, well into the first half, so they're taking care of the ball, getting good shots.
They're shooting for another 3. It's too strong. Collier over the top against Veesaar to keep it alive.
And he's the one guy that they can match up size-wise with Veesaar.
This is Atkins. He's made a 3-pointer. As is Davis. He's got a couple of them to his credit. Gregory with the shot clock at 5. Davis misses. Jaden Young is into the lineup now for North Carolina. Where's number 4? Has the ball. Launches away and hits.
Well, that play starts with Caleb Wilson kicking it out, reading the double team, and then the swing around.
Jaden Young this season from 3-point distance had been 1 of 7. Seeing action in his 8th game this year. Veesaar, another rebound. He's got 8 already in the first half. Remember, he had 15 against Georgetown to set his career high. He's got his 5th double-double of the season against the Hoyas. Wilson misses, fouled by the smaller Gregory.
Well, and he's going to see a lot, especially against this team in the post. He's going to be oversized against everybody. He kicks it out. Good swing of the basketball. Good ball reversal. But, you know, it's, Tar Heel fans have come to expect almost a double-double from Veesaar and this young man at the line every single game.
Freshman from Atlanta, Georgia, 77% from the stripe. You're watching CW Courtside Saturday, presented by Allstate. You're in good hands.
And that's a great number for him, that percentage from the free throw line, because chances are pretty high he's going to be taking a ton of free throws during the course of the season.
This will be his 72nd free throw this year, Mike. Yep. He's made 56 of them. 7-0 run, North Carolina. And in front by 4. Wilson had 15 points, 12 rebounds in the win at Kentucky. It's going to be an offensive foul. Skinner picks it up for USC Upstate.
This is, again, good anticipation from the weak sides. Aiden High coming over, establishing himself.
Derek Dixon brings it up. He was one of the heroes of that Kentucky game, Mike. Scored 5 points in the last minute of the game, 9 for the contest against the Wildcats. And North Carolina won on the road. Will get a foul called against the Spartans. Skinner picks up his 2nd.
You know, if there's a weakness in Wilson's game right now, it's his three-point shooting, but that's okay. You know, at his size, he's such a great driver of the basketball. You know, you got to give up something. I'd probably err on the side of giving him space for a jump shot.
Does so many things well. Just 2 of 11 so far this season on 3-point tries. leads the nation, Mike, among freshmen in rebounding. Almost 11 rebounds per game on average. So he made his first two. Comes up empty this time for Caleb Wilson.
I remember, too, a lot of firsts for a freshman, and including finals week. So it's, it's the first time he's ever had to go through that here.
Recently concluded for North Carolina. A week between games, between the Georgetown victory and this afternoon's contest against the Spartans. Shot clock at 3. Just one of their last 8 for USC Upstate. Poked away out of bounds. Jaden Young got a piece of it. There's only 1.3 on the clock. And 5:16 on the game clock. Bendinger, quick release.
Well, that's the other thing that Wilson gives you. You can rebound plus carry the ball up in transition off the dribble. Take some pressure off the guards.
Dixon dropped it off. Out of bounds, North Carolina basketball. Trying to find Zayden High underneath. Wilson drew the double. Bogavac swinging in the 3 for Carolina. He's got 5.
Well, and they're going to make the Spartans make a decision now. That's the second double team they've kicked out for a made 3. So, Wilson again, unselfishly reading the double team and hitting the open guy.
It's now a 10-0 run for North Carolina. Luka Bogavac. Nobody takes more or makes more three-pointers for North Carolina this season. Wilson comes flying in for the rebound, working on a 10-0 run and hustling it up the court.
And you can see any shot close to the basket, Spartans is a real rush, really conscious of the shot blocking.
High. Bendinger runs it down. He is their leading scorer for this season. He's only got 2 points so far, Mike, and USC Upstate, one of its last 10 in field goal attempts. A lot of dribbling from Smith. Gregory tried to shake his defender. Ball was deflected. Dixon. Young. Bogavac saves it. Directs a little traffic and loops it into Wilson. Everybody touches that basketball. Wilson bends the rim.
Just really advanced footwork in the post for a freshman.
6 points in his second dunk of the game. Wilson the steal. Bogavac all alone for the layup. And a timeout. Season of giving on display here in Chapel Hill this week and prior to our game, Mike.
Yeah, and to that end, North Carolina 11 assists on 13 made field goals, so really sharing the basketball.
Bendinger, little floater, one-handed. Yeah, they need points, Mike, since the 8:36 mark.
Well, and that's a confidence booster, coming out of the timeout to get your leading scorer going.
Dixon in tight quarters. Veesaar got fouled going up for the jam, and he'll go to the free throw line.
But, Marty Richter told us that something similar happened at Nebraska. Upstate really in that game late into the first half. Then Nebraska went on a big run to get back into it, build up a lead, and then second half build on that. Almost the same thing happening here in this game.
65% from the stripe for Henri Veesaar this season. Coming up on the Subaru Halftime Report, CW, you're home for the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl. And the legend himself gives us a preview. You're going to want to see that. Plus, we'll take a look at the ACC's remarkable freshman class all coming up on the Subaru Halftime Report. Got one of those freshmen in our game today.
It's good to see in this climate that we live in with so much focus on the portal that there is a very strong freshman class around the country this year. Inside of 2.5 minutes to go in the first half.
from the Smith Center. So glad that you're with us. Tom Wormy, Mike Jaminski, our outstanding production crew. CW Courtside Saturday. That's exactly where we are here at Roy Williams Court. Shot clock down to 5. Bendinger trying to go against Stevenson. Foul called against North Carolina
before the shot went up. But the issue with Bendinger is that he has seen much taller players defending him. He's really struggled to get a good look at the basket.
He is 2 of 7 so far from the floor. He's got the basketball now. Veesaar trying to defend. Wilson helps. Into the corner. Bounces around, and Bendinger able to get back to it after the miss from Atkins.
Coach calling him, they want to use as much of that 20-second rewind as they can.
Straight away. Bendinger got fouled on the 3 as Wilson came out to challenge.
Maybe the spark that he needs going into the second half, but again, freshman mistake. You just want to challenge this shot. That's a big guy bearing down on you, too. That was great concentration by him.
This will be the first free throw attempt of the game for USC Upstate.
They're coming off two of their wins, 2 of the last 3 wins. They've been 36 times each at the free throw line.
Last Saturday at home, they beat Western Carolina out of the Southern Conference, 78-67. They attempted 30 free throws in that game and made 24 of them. Just 1 attempt so far. Veesaar up top. Caleb Wilson well above the rim to slam it home on the oop.
Well, Hubert Davis told us yesterday they've been attached to the hip since they've been here, and that's just big throwing to bigger right there on the lob.
How far above the rim was Caleb Wilson? Powell passes a little bit behind him, goes out of bounds, and that'll be off of the Spartans. Caleb Wilson, at least 3 dunks so far in the first half. Told you he's the nation's leader in that category, and a lot of support.
Yeah,
that statement so far in the first half.
I mean, just 8 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. I mean, and he's not even kicked it into second gear.
Veesaar over the top. Jump hook.
Well, and that time with the isolation, double team couldn't come down. He was there on his own.
Double figure scoring in every game for Veesaar, who is closing in on another double-double in the first half. Bendinger bumped in the paint. Stevenson trying to recover defensively. Nice roll for Bendinger.
And that's a good sign for this team, something they can build on coming out. North Carolina going to take that time out.
So Veesaar is just 2 rebounds away from a double-double in the first half with only 29.3 seconds remaining. 8 points for Wilson, 10 for Veesaar. Bogavac has 7 and has the basketball now. About a 5-second difference, game and shot. Shot clock to 7. Bogavac trying to shake his defender. Couldn't find the angle on the square. Final seconds. Tyler Smith gives it up. Bendinger leans into the 3 and misses. He had scored the last 7 points for USC Upstate. He is their leading scorer this season. So we're going to the locker room. Williams
he's had some off-season health issues, which he's recovering from. Wish him all the best.
903 wins for Coach Williams as he watches Wilson try to drive to the rim. All of Wilson's made field goals, Mike, in the first half were dunks. Davis picks up the foul for USC Upstate.
Well, the thing there is you saw how far away he was from the rim when he went into his shot, and that's the thing people are going to have to get used to.
So he's missed his last 3 free throw attempts after making his first 2. North Carolina as a team 71%, 9th in the ACC. So Caleb Wilson now with 9 points, averages 19.3.
You know, we talked about Veesaar and the rebounding, and you know, it's really been a team rebounding effort for Upstate. They're only down 2 in that category.
4 of 8 on 3-pointers in the first half for North Carolina. 6 of 15 for USC Upstate. Wilson denies entry.
And that's what I talk about again, that help side defense division. In high school, it can lock into your own guy, but he can do it. He can average 3 blocks a game, and he gets used to seeing what's going on the weak side.
Second block of the game for Wilson. Shot clock is at 5 for Gregory. Trying to get around Evans off the glass for Gregory.
Really showed a lot of poise that time. Didn't rush things through the end of the shot clock.
His first points of the afternoon. He's the second leading scorer for the Spartans this season. Bogavac's hesitation. Trying to drop it off to Veesaar. Off of his fingertips and out of bounds and back to the Spartans.
Bogavac, if you're going to go into your shooting motion like that, get it up on the rim, and if you can miss, let the offensive rebounding take over. But Veesaar was anticipating the shot and to get a turnover.
41st season of basketball inside the Smith Center. Larry's program closing in, Mike, on 500 wins in this facility, 495 to start the day.
Larry Brown, a name Tar Heel fans are very familiar with, always said, make your mistakes up at the rim. Meaning Gregory didn't get a shot up.
Bogavac steals it back on the save attempt. He'll step into a 3 and knock it down.
Comes right back, doesn't hang his head after the turnover, steps into a 3 on the run.
8 straight games with double-figure scoring. Bogavac, he's got 10 at the other end. Gregory, he's got all of his points now in the second half and 4.
When you get a guy like Trimble goes down, it's not going to be one guy who's going to pick up all that scoring.
Stevenson put the shoulder down, gave it off. Veesaar did not get the roll.
And they've chosen to play him one-on-one. They have not double-teamed him at all this afternoon. You know, Caleb Wilson is the guy who's been drawing the double teams.
Gregory. Over Veesaar for 3.
A little step back. Also, he did a nice challenge on the shot. You know, you don't want to foul in that situation. Just got beat by better offense.
7 points now for Gregory, all in the second half. Tied for the game high with 15 in the win against Western Carolina a week ago, and the Spartans have the ball back. Spartans had the lead for a short time in the first half. North Carolina came storming back. Gregory again, this time he's off the mark. Entry to Wilson, immediate double.
Yeah, they don't want him to beat them today. And Bogavac he's been the offense here early in the second half.
13 points and a couple of threes. Luka Bogavac, the junior from Montenegro.
You know, it's rare that a freshman is really good at passing out of the double team. You get a little bullheaded sometimes and you want to fight through it and score. Not him.
Bendinger nowhere to go, defended. Skinner misses. Bogavac up ahead. Wilson the catch. Wilson missed going up on the jam. Foul called. Isaiah Skinner got a piece of Wilson, his 3rd.
Yeah, you see Wilson. He's going to get a lot of company when he gets the ball, especially inside. And at his size, he can see over most double teams he's going to get.
Bogavac now is 3 of 4 from long range.
You know what? I mean, if you're Upstate, it's not a bad thing, especially the way he has shot free throws to this point in this game. But take a chance instead of letting him get a dunk, fire the fan base up. You put him at the line where he struggled.
You're watching CW Courtside Saturday, presented by Allstate. You're in good hands. 5th season for Hubert Davis, 109 wins. as the head coach of the Tar Heels in a trip to the Final Four in his first year back in 2022. In the national title game against Kansas, he was the national coach of the year. Double in the backcourt. Timeout. Spartans now with just one timeout remaining after that full court pressure applied by North Carolina, broken skillfully on this occasion, although deflected out of bounds. And the officials are going to discuss this.
Yeah, it was tipped, and so they got the call right without having to look at. Yeah.
Mark Schnurr, Claire Aubrey, Michael Kitts.
Yep. Good job of crew officiating that time. It was, and actually this saved a good look at a three. I mean, just that little difference.
Seven of 19 on threes for USC Upstate. Average about 8 made per game. Skinner. Bit of a no-look to Collier, and they could not combine. Out of bounds. When we come back on CW Courtside Saturday, North Carolina has the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl. Great preview from Snoop at halftime. Also on that game coming up December 27th.
Yeah, he really did a great job over at the Olympics this year. I mean, that knows his sports, and this is the first zone look we've seen from.
Veesaar trying to attack the rim. He was fouled. Collier in the neighborhood.
Yeah, I think what Spartan's trying to do in that situation, just try to force the perimeter shot at all costs.
So Henri Veesaar at the free throw line, 65% on the season from the stripe for the redshirt junior. We showed you his travels all the way from Estonia and the capital city of Tallinn.
Well, each school he's chosen a much warmer climate than what he's grown up in. So good decision making on his part. And a much expanded role here at North Carolina.
Russia to the east of Estonia, Mike. Latvia to the south, and the Baltic Sea to the west. Wow.
Tom McNally.
Geography lesson here in Chapel Hill. I thought finals were done. What's going on? Collier thought about a three, only briefly. Veesaar couldn't catch up. How about Smith getting to the rim? He's got 8.
Yeah, that was a tough finish, too.
Speedy Tyler Smith, the basket, and the Spartans refuse to go away. Wilson on the cut. Veesaar found him. Basket and foul. Caleb Wilson's got 12 points.
Here's the look, right back door, in which they've had some success in this game on getting to the rim that way. And you see these two working big on big inside.
.12 points, 6 rebounds so far for Caleb Wilson.
So if you're going to foul him, do it so he gets 2 free throws.
5 of 9 from the stripe for Wilson. Largest lead of the afternoon right now for North Carolina. 50-37 against USC Upstate out of the Big South. Smith in the corner. Bendinger, free throw line, elbow vicinity, and he hits it.
And just when it seems each time when the game looks like it's going to get out of shape a little bit for Upstate, they hit a big basket.
11 points for Bendinger, the leading scorer this season for USC Upstate. Dixon, Veesaar to the rim for 2 by Collier.
Well, you've got Wilson occupying a guy down low and just a high screen roll. There were the only 2 guys in the area.
14 points now this afternoon for Henri Veesaar. That's 17 points, a game high in the win on the road at Kentucky for North Carolina. And come from behind fashion. Adkins leans into a 3. Wilson pulls it down.
And down this end, Veesaar is playing center field. He's not even guarding Collier.
Draws the double, sends it back out. Powell lines up the 3. North Carolina working on a modest 2-game winning streak. The win against Georgetown on Sunday, 81-61. Tar Heels shot 48%, made 9 threes. Also wins at Kentucky and home against Kansas, and that's a 3 for Skinner.
Well, I mean, this is a guy that's going to take, he's in the game to take threes. He's only taken a couple of 2-point baskets on the year.
Angular rebound. Powell runs it down on the miss by Dixon. Bogavac wants to set it up. Individual effort. Off the glass and in.
Yeah, see, I mean, his jump shot sets up his drive. You've got to go out and honor the three, and if anything, you've got to make him go left.
15 points now for Luka Bogavac. Career high is 19. Set that against Radford earlier this season. Bounces out to Veesaar with a rebound. Had it taken away. Stolen back by the quick hands of Atkins, and then to the rim. Bendinger hit the deck. Back out to Smith for the reset. Slick little move on the baseline. Carmelo Atkins for USC Upstate, and he's got 5 points.
See, Veesaar was outside that time, and he got him out of the lane area. Once you got past him, they had Wilson sealed.
Veesaar working on Collier. Bogavac with the shot clock at 9. Powell, catch and release. Front rim, Atkins defending. Foul is called.
Yeah, they went orange. It's not my color wheel.
Carolina blue on full display. Jonathan Powell, sophomore from Centerville, Ohio. He'll have 3. He was fouled on the 3-point attempt.
Big disparity you saw there in the graphic at the free throw line. Upstate hanging in by making threes.
It was a 16th free throw attempted by North Carolina.
And not taking full advantage of that. 10 of 16 to this point. Not a great percentage.
Gregory with a wicked crossover, drops it low. And they've got 2. Gregory did all the heavy lifting there for Jafet Martinez to finish the ball.
Yeah, and actually, good pump fake by Martinez as well. Good catch in close quarters.
Powell, close range, got a nice soft bounce inside Smith Center.
And that's what they need to do in the last 11 minutes, or just keep pounding away in the paint. Old-fashioned 3-point plays.
It's 9 points from Jonathan Powell, above his season average of 4.2. He's seen action in every game this season. Weak side kept alive.
They're getting the 50-50 balls right now.
Hubert Davis on the hustle for USC Upstate. Veesaar picks up his 2nd personal foul for head coach Marty Richter.
Tom, this is the 2nd Big South team that we've seen in 2 weeks up in the Triangle area. I'm impressed with both teams so far. UNC Asheville last week against State.
Feisty and determined without question, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about getting ready for league play. I mean, you go to Nebraska and then you come to this building and you find out a lot about your team.
Tuesday, USC Upstate at South Carolina State in their first Big South game against Radford on December 31st. A team that North Carolina has already defeated this season. USC Upstate, though, Mike, struggling from beyond the arc. 4 of their last 17 after starting 4 of 5. This is Dixon on the handle. Working with Veesaar. Pounds it into the floor.
Better job of defending that pick and roll that time. Martinez, we talked about his shot blocking ability, did a nice job of defending that.
Veesaar trying to defend Gregory. Follow jam from Martinez.
No, see, that was a missed shot, but that was actually an assist. I mean, he knew that he had offensive rebounding there with Martinez, and make or miss, he was going to get a basket.
It is an 8-point game. Dixon with a 3.
I think he's the guy that they really need to have step up in league play as a three-point shooter.
First points of the afternoon for Derek Dixon, freshman from Vienna, Virginia. Gregory misses. Dixon has the basketball. Shooting 48% from three-point real estate, best on the team. Out of the corner, it's another three ball. Jonathan Powell. Powell's off the bench with 12 points.
And that gets the crowd going, and it's really one of the first baskets they've gotten in transition in this half. Nothing like a Wilson dunk or a three-pointer in the break to get the crowd going.
Season high 12 points now for Powell. Just a moment ago it was an 8-point game. Bendinger twisting and scoring. High degree of difficulty.
Yeah, the first 8 to 10 minutes of this game were a real struggle for him, but then he found his comfort zone. He's been an effective scorer.
He's got 13 points now, Mike, for USC Upstate for Bendinger. 8:45 to go in regulation. Bogavac trying to shed his defender for three. Stevenson tips it into Powell. 8 of 15 on threes for North Carolina. Dixon tries to drive it this time. Shot clock's down to 3. Veesaar with a runner from 3. Bogavac's got it back. Stevenson finish from Bogavac.
And it looked like Upstate stopped playing for just a count there at the end of the shot clock, but the ball hit the rim.
Jaron Stevenson, his first points of the game for the junior from right here in Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
Marty Richter now just taking the arrow. They are going to go deep into the shot clock in every possession from here on out.
Gregory straight away. Stevenson up top for it. Wing right to Martinez. He doesn't get the roll. Stevenson trying to run it down to the corner. North Carolina basketball. Tar Heels enjoying their largest.
Offensively, an excellent game is 60% of your assist to field goals. That's 75%. Outstanding offense. And
a bit of a miscommunication there in the backcourt. Dixon and Young.
You got two guards with their arms up like, where were you? Where were you going? No, where were you?
USC Upstate basketball. Trailing 66-52. 7.5 minutes to go in regulation. First ever trip for the Spartans program to Chapel Hill. Take on the Tar Heels. First ever meeting between the programs, and the shot clock is down to 6. Powell picks up the foul for North Carolina.
Only the second team foul for North Carolina, so they are Upstate not close to getting in the bonus.
Smith. Bendinger lost it. Racing to the rim, and he lays it in.
Yeah, I mean, where that turnover occurred, there's just no defensive transition that you can get in, in that situation. They ran the shot clock down to 8, but they've got to get something up at the rim.
North Carolina so good defensively in the second half against Georgetown, which shot just 22% last Saturday here at the Smith Center. And a win for the Tar Heels. What an effort. Diving to the floor to save it, James Brown. North Carolina won its first 6 games of the season. Mike mentioned the only loss against Michigan State. That was the Fort Myers tip-off. Late in the shot clock for North Carolina. 3 from the corner. Side rim, Jonathan Powell right in front of his own bench.
And the thing that Michigan State had was size that could match up against this team.
That was on November 27th. December 2nd, the win at then number 18 Kentucky. Davis has the three.
Tell you what, Tyler Smith has really impressed me with his ability off the dribble to get into the paint. He collapses the defense, and they've been getting some good looks outside.
12 points for Davis for the Spartans. Young lining up the three from the wing. James Brown had it for a moment. Wilson couldn't get a hand on it. Davis racing up the court, left-hand layup.
We talked about selective running by Upstate. They wanted to take time off the clock, but saw they had numbers.
Davis now with 14 points. That leads the way for USC Upstate. 15 points for Bogavac. That leads the way for North Carolina. Dixon fires away.
And no double team that time on Wilson. They're going to play him straight up and not give up the three.
Out of bounds to North Carolina, which is now 8 of 19 in three-point tries. We mentioned Seth Trimble still out with the left forearm injury. Missed the last 7 games and now 8 today. Played in just the first 2.
But, you know, no cast, no wrap, no anything on that. I mean, that's a good sign. He was out working really hard before the teams took the court today.
Working with assistant coach Marcus Page on those mid-range jump shots for Seth Trimble. Hoping to get him back in the lineup soon. 104 games in his career for the senior. Veesaar, series of moves. Skinner defending out of bounds, and it is Spartans basketball.
Pretty nice job of not letting him get all the way to the rim. This is a little bit too close for Coach Davis at this point, at this juncture.
North Carolina led by as many as 16 points, Mike, here in the second half. 68-52. Gregory baseline. Has to kick it back out. Skinner. Isaiah Skinner rattles the rim. 8-0 run, USC Upstate.
All of his baskets from behind the arc.
That is now 10 made threes in the game for the Spartans. Timeout. Hubert Davis and North.
Go right to this mark and take it every time.
Certainly would. Evans, the kick. Powell for three.
A good answer. You want execution coming out of a timeout, and he has not been bashful looking for his shot.
3.5 minutes to go in regulation. Skinner tries to follow his own miss. Poked away. Bogavac. He's got 15 points in the game, 5 assists. Tries to get another one from Wilson, working on the baseline. Foul is called. Collier in the neighborhood.
And more times than not in this game, he's beating people baseline. A lot of times you'd expect on that side of the floor the player to go middle to his stronger hand.
Seven times this season into double digits in scoring for Caleb Wilson. The fastest growing cable network in all of television is News Nation. News Nation respects all Americans and is news for all Americans. To find News Nation on your screen, go to newsnationnow.com.
So, you know, we talked about guys who need to maybe find a spark, and Powell, one of those guys, has really answered the call. They get his three-point shooting going. That'd be a huge boost.
Powell has 17 points in the game. 15 for Wilson, 15 for Bogavac. Veesaar has 14 and 8 boards. Gregory into the paint around Bogavac. Veesaar the rebound. He came down awkwardly. He's behind the play. They go all the way across for the three. Wilson grabs it. And for that miss from Powell. Quick shot. Wilson.
And the coaches are looking to try to get some sign from Veesaar. He came down awkwardly on his leg. He's hanging in there. And he gave a thumbs up over to the coaches saying he's okay.
A 7-0 run by North Carolina by 15 now. Just a moment ago, it was an 8-point game. Bendinger spinning away, front rim. Wilson the rebound. So Wilson and Powell, Mike, lead the way with the 17 points now. Wilson is 5 for 5 from the floor. Of course, 3 of those are dunks for Wilson. Evans, defender on his hip, bounces out. Wilson grabs it. Veesaar ended up on the floor.
He was just trying to not get fallen on, trying to protect himself inside. They may be taking him out of the game right now.
Davis picked up the foul for USC Upstate. He's their leading scorer with 14 points.
You know, I think a 15-point ball game like now, if you're Hubert Davis, you don't want to err on the side with your center tweaking that even more.
Despite the miss for Wilson, he's got his 7th double-double of the season with 17 points and 10 rebounds, 3 assists as well. And that one spins out. Seven of 13 from the line for Wilson. Now has 83 free throw attempts in the young season and is turned over back to North Carolina. Bogavac, who's made 3 3-pointers in the game, as has Powell.
Especially the early part of this second half really gave them a lift offensively.
Wilson wants 3. He's got it.
All right, the free throw isn't working. I'm going to shoot the 3, which he hasn't been stellar at this year, but knocks it down at 18% coming in.
This is his 3rd made 3 of the season, and he has a towering rebound at the other end. 11 boards for Wilson. And now for the 4th time this season, Mike, Wilson has a double-double with 20 or more points and 10 or more rebounds. 4 times this season he's done it. He's got the ball. Charging to the rim. Knocked away from Wilson and a foul call. Stevenson. On him making the NCAA tournament for the 3rd time under Coach Davis last season. Stevenson. The free throw line.
I tell you what, this may sound, trite, but this is the toughest free throws to make when there's nobody at the line.
Not for Stevenson, they're not.
Yeah, it's not an easy thing to do. Used to having that crowd up and down the line.
So USC Upstate a few minutes ago went on an 8-0 run. North Carolina has countered Coach Richter and the Spartans with a 12-0 run, and they've got possession of the basketball after the flagrant. Bogavac, quick release. Bendinger fighting on the weak side with Stevenson. Up ahead, Gregory beats everybody to the rim. Powell couldn't get there. 9 points for Gregory.
They'll have to get it over half court if they don't foul.
And now the final 15 seconds, the shot clock is off. A couple of times it was an 8-point game in the second half as the Spartans came back. North Carolina will leave the court undefeated at home this season, 7-0, 80-62 against USC Upstate.